ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here with another Hearthstone arena. So I have a choice here: no rogues, no warriors, no priests. So we're gonna get to try something a little new. I have had a pretty bad run with mage, even though mages got buffed. And let's go ahead and take this opportunity to strike another divide by zero error from my spreadsheet by picking up a run with Druid. Interestingly enough, I have gone 9 wins with Rogue twice now. So Rogue has actually become a new favorite class after getting nerfed, which is kind of hilarious. Let's give Druid a shot. With Druid I had 2 wins, getting up to 9 wins twice. It was my first 2 times ever playing Arena, and then after that I haven't been able to get to 7 in like all the times I've tried. So that's been a little bit frustrating. I'm actually going to be really excited here. I have never seen STARFALL, I think, in every time I've ever played Druid, and I'm really happy to pick it up here. It's good removal if you target a single creature, but it gives you an out against a swarm of little creatures, so we're really happy to take that there. Alright, Twilight Drake, I think the nerf just really makes it so much less exciting because it's durable, but it's not big. Let's go for the cheaper and potentially more explosive Questing Adventurer, who, by the way, is now a rare. Okay, I've never been a big fan of Wild Growth, to be honest, but I'm kind of like Elven Archer. He's, I think, better with Druids than with other classes because you can, use your hero ability and the Elven Archer and deal 2 damage to something. Iron for Grizzly, though, not to be discounted. I think this guy's a bit underrated. It's a taunter, which is significant, and his stats are totally fine. He gets trumped by Ascension Shieldmaster, but that's fine. Ascension Shieldmaster costs 1 more mana and has 2 more stat points. That's what you should get if you increase the mana cost of a creature by 1, is 2 more stat points, so it's not like the Iron for Grizzly is bad. I think I'll actually pick it up here over the Archer. It's a little bit more of a durable thing. A little bit more excited to have that generally. This is a very tricky call here. Nourish, drawing 3 cards, does just sometimes win you the game, but the Sunwalker is an extremely difficult thing to get past. It's nice to have a little bit of late game there. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go for the card draw and try to pick up general fat creatures for the end. There's really nothing else that's quite like Nourish. There are other things that are pretty good, kind of like the Sunwalker. So we're going to go ahead and pick up the card draw there. Alright, so spell power is good. Spell damage, I should now call it, now that I have Starfall, but I think it's not as good as Starfire, which is card draw and good removal all in one. Alright, Naturalize I don't think is a very good card. It's too risky to use, but Ooze I pretty much will almost always take. Well, I don't think I'd play with more than 2 Oozes, let's say, but with the prevalence of Warriors now, having an out against weapons is really good. Okay, I don't like this because it's a 1/1. It's a 1-mana creature that dies easily. This is bad. Its stats are horrible. Like, this thing should cost 4 mana, not 5. For 5 mana, its stats should be higher by at least 3, and dealing 3 damage to the enemy hero is totally irrelevant. So we're going to go ahead and grab the Raid Leader here. Alright, I have another chance to pick up a Sunwalker. Well, these are all really good cards. So if I end up playing a more controlling deck, the Abomination could be nice because it can really slow your opponent down. Sunwalker is really, really good defense, and the Argent Commander is really good offense. Let's go ahead and grab the defensive creature here. Reason being, I seem to be getting a somewhat expensive deck at the moment, so slowing my opponent down with this immovable object will be a pretty nice bonus. Alright, tough call here. Gurubashi Berserker is really good right now because a lot of people are playing mages, and he survives against them pretty well. A lot of people play warriors, he survives against their weapons pretty well. He does die to the Shadow Word Pain from Priest, which is sad. But I think I am going to take this opportunity to grab him. Although the Argent Squire is really good. Man, Argent Squire is so good. I like this 1-drop. It's one of my favorite 1-drops, actually. Especially as a Druid, because you put this on turn 1, your opponent now can't play anything on turn 2. If they play a 2-toughness creature, they know you're just going to run into it, pop Divine Shield, and use your hero ability and kill it. Oh, it's tough call here. So what am I going to be more sad not to have? An Argent Squire or a Gurubashi Berserker? I think I'm going to be more sad not to have this, because it's just the survivability against warriors and mages really adds a lot to a deck. Okay. Well, I think I've experimented with this guy before. I really don't like him. Twilight Drake is a pretty decent 4-drop, I guess. It's kind of like a Chillwind Yeti most of the time nowadays that can be silenced. This guy can actually be really important. I've actually lost because of this stupid thing, but it's such a bad play when your opponent doesn't have weapons. Unlike the Ooze, which is fine. It's a 3/2 for 2, even if your opponent has no weapons, but this guy's just terrible. We'll take the Twilight Drake. I could use 4-drops in any case. Alright, let's go ahead. These are all solid creatures for sure. Let's go ahead and grab the Brewmasteries. You've got tricks you can do with him, potentially. At the moment, there's nothing that you can really trick with, but he's got amazing stats for 4-mana creatures, so I'm going to go ahead and be greedy and grab him. Okay, oh my god, this is so heartbreaking. These are 3 amazing cards. I really wish I could have gotten one of these instead of, like, you know, the Iron Fur Grizzly or something. Or the Twilight Drake. Oh, man. I love the Druid of the Claw so much. A 4/4 with charge for 5 mana is just fantastic. And if you need, you know, a Taunter to get in the way of things, you can do that too. I think we're going to take the Wrath here. I think removal's really important. Even more so than a charging creature. Alright, Savage Roar I've seen actually be really good. Let's go ahead and pick it up, especially because this stuff is sort of marginal. Alright, so I can either make things taunt and get buffed, or silence. Let's go ahead and grab the silence to make sure we have at least one out against miscellaneous stuff. Scarlet Crusader, one of my favorite 3-drops. I actually like it a lot more than the Panther. Sure, it doesn't have stealth and its stats are lower, but this Divine Shield is such a pain in the ass to deal with. Alright, well here we get another chance to pick up a Panther or a Ventrico Mercenary. Let's get a giant guy in here. I'm a little bit lacking for giant guys at the moment, so let's go ahead and make sure that that deck has that. Alright, here's between Swipe and Wrath. I think Swipe is just really, really strong, so we're going to go ahead and pick that up there over the Wrath. Perfect. So Savage Roar is decent at everything, but here's my chance to get the Argent Squire. I do want to make sure I get one of those. Mark of Nature can be really strong, but... jeez. You have to have a creature on the board. It's so vulnerable. I'm going to get this guy. The healing I find is nice to have some of in your deck. 3/3 for 3 is fine stats-wise. Healing adds a lot of versatility to your deck. It helps you survive against rushes. Uh-oh. Well, this is a garbage pack, unfortunately. I can't stomach this thing, so we're going to take the mediocre Mana Addict. Alright, Power of the Wild. Really love this card. Good late game, good early game, but I don't know if this is right here, because these are really good quality creatures. Some Spell Power is nice, because I do have Starfall, and Swipe. So Spell Power goes really, really well with Global Removal. I, however, could use some 4-drops, and the Chillwind Yeti is about as good as they come. Alright, we're going to grab the Chillwind Yeti here. Hopefully I can get another Spell Power creature later on. Alright, so I can get another Mark of Nature, Spellbreaker. I think I'm doing okay on silences. Let's go ahead and grab some actual removal in the form of the Starfire. Perfect. Got another chance to pick up the Druid. That's excellent. Ooh, wow. Jesus Christ, this is so ridiculously good. So I've lost more than a number of games against Mountain Giant, and I've won my share of games thanks to Mountain Giant. He's also really good because I have Nourish, so I can draw some cards to make him cheaper. But these trees are just, God, so good. I think since we already have card draw in the form of Nourish, we'll go ahead and grab this guy. If your opponent doesn't have a Silence, or any kind of one-click removal, such as Hex, Polymorph, or Assassinate, this thing is just a totally immobile object. And if you have a clear board, you can drop him down as a 10-5 and do terrible things. That was a really hard pick. Those are all such good cards. This, however, is a terrible pack. I don't even know what to do here, man. This is such a mediocre 3-drop. I don't even want to add to my 3-curve. Wisps, I can't justify playing, so I guess it's going to be the Voodoo Doctor. Alright, always going to take Swipe. That's a fantastic removal spell. Alright, so here, I didn't pick up any Claws or Bites, so Savagery's not that good. So the question is, can I afford to take Giant Dude? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big creatures. Don't want a 6th one, considering I have some Starfires here, which also raise my curve. I don't want to go for the slightly more conservative play with the Knife Juggler. Well, I currently have 1, 2 things to drop on turn 2. Yeah, I think having a 3rd thing to drop on turn 2 would be nice. More important than the finisher. Alright, interesting. So I can take the Ironbark Protector. He is just a beast. Even if you ignore the taunt, I mean, an 8/8 for 8 mana can just win you games all by itself. Claw is removal, though. So how much removal do I have currently? I've got Wrath, 1. Savage Roar, that's 2. 2 Swipes, that's 4. Starfall is 5. 2 Starfires, that's 6, 7. I'm going to take a chance here. I want to get this big late game creature. Claw does kill a lot of important stuff, but I'd like to make sure I have one of these in my deck. Look at this! I got to take a chance to take another Claw. Now, Stormwind Champion, that's really, really good, of course. It's just an amazing creature, but I think it's getting a bit greedy. That's putting my curve a little high, so let's go ahead and grab the early removal so I can hang in there to get to my good stuff. Why does this happen? Why couldn't one of these have been like a Mountain Giant or a tree or something? Oh, this is all terrible. Okay, I can't play the Ancient Watcher because I didn't pick up any of the give a creature taunt thing. The only thing that I have that works with this is the Ironbeak Owl. I don't want to waste my own silence on it. This is just terrible, and this, oh, for fuck's sake. Why did this have to happen? I have no other Murlocs, I don't think. So this doesn't make any sense. I guess we're taking the Secret Keeper. Now, the Secret Keeper is a card that basically, if I ever see it in my opening hand, I'm going to just mulligan and hope I never draw it. It is so bad, I don't even want to play it on turn 1. That is how bad it is. So that really sucks. This draft was pretty good. I did get Starfall, I did get Swipes, I got Removal. I have some really high-quality endgame creatures as well. But there were a few picks in this draft where it was just like there was nothing good, and there was a few picks in this draft where it was like everything good in the same place. I think one of the most heartbreaking ones where it was like Druid of the Claw, like Acolyte of Pain, and Wrath. It was just so heartbreaking. Okay, so this card is just terrible. Shamans have no secrets, Druids have no secrets. This is a 1/2 for 1 mana. It is so bad. I just literally hope I never draw it. This is a little bit early. I'm doubting I'm going to need the health, although I might if my opponent has early plays, and this is a bit slow. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can pick up like an actually good turn 2 play. We don't actually have that many in this deck. We're a little bit lacking. So the Ooze is tricky. If he has a Stormforged Axe, I'm going to regret playing the Ooze. I think actually the risk of that is scary enough, because the Stormforged Axe is a common, that I will not play this on turn 2. I'm going to wait and see if he has the Axe. Alright, let's see what my opponent's going to have for me here. Dust Devil. That's a bizarre play against a Druid. Because, what, he's got a Taunter behind this? Lightning Bolt to the face. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, well, we start things off with Midnight on a Monday Night Casual player, Mr. Death in a Can. So that's totally fine. This is not a good play, though, against a Druid. If you are going to play Dust Devil against a Druid, you want to wait until you have Taunt out, so you have the actual chance to like hit your opponent. You also don't want to use damage spells like Lightning Bolts to hit your opponent in the face, because those spells are vastly better if you use them against creatures to establish board control. So, that was definitely some funny stuff happening here. Now I could play the Questing Adventurer and kind of risk it. Problem is my opponent will have actually like 2 turns to answer it, because really next turn I'm playing only 1 creature, so it's a 3/3. What are the odds a Shaman will have an answer to a 3/3 in 2 turns? Pretty high. So let's go ahead and do this. Heal up. And then the Questing Adventurer will be looking to play that a little bit later in the game, after we already have some stuff on the board and my opponent will be tempted by my Removal Magnet. Alright, so I have 2 options here. I can play the Ooze, hero ability, and then use the Earthen Ring Farseer and my hero ability to kill this guy. The other option would be to play the Chillwind Yeti and threaten to kill this guy next turn. I think I'm actually going to play the Chillwind Yeti, although this is not a play I would make against any class. If this was up like a Paladin or something, mostly a Paladin. Paladins have lots of buffs for their creatures. I would be inclined to kill it right away. As it is, I'm mainly risking like a Dark Iron Dwarf, pumping this up, killing my Farseer. Actually, I just did a really good job convincing myself to kill this thing right now. Yeah, every class, there's some good neutral creatures that do buffing. Let's just kill it. That's turn. One risk of this play is that he does potentially have Forked Lightning to kill both my things, but in that case I can play the Ventrico Mercenary, and I'm still fine. And I already got card advantage by using this to kill off one of his creatures, so I don't mind getting a little bit of card disadvantage. Alright, my opponent continues to play 1 toughness creatures against me, which is nice. Frostchuck. Oh boy, it's a bit loose. Oh my gosh. It's a funny game. Swipe is not actually worth using. It looks to kill 2 creatures, but this is really all coming from the same card, so it's kind of pointless. What we're going to do instead is kill this, hero ability, kill this. We'll play the Questing Adventurer now. Seems fine. I'm running a risk of Lightning Storm, but even if my opponent Lightning Storms me, because of the bad plays he's been making, like turn 1 Dust Devil and Lightning Bolt to the face, I have really big card advantage against him anyway. And if he doesn't have Lightning Storm, then next turn I might be able to play some cards and kill this guy off. Ah, Hex. Alright. Well, no matter how much I pumped up the Adventurer, it was destined for a Hex at any rate. It's got the 1/1, eh? I think it's worth killing. I'm not in any rush to play the Ventrico Mercenary. My opponent appears not to have Lightning Storm, or else he surely would have played it. And this guy survives a lightning storm anyway, so I just have a pretty dominating board position. It's going to get really scary for my opponent next turn after I play the Ventrico Mercenary. As a bonus, I also have this Taunter here. Boulder Fist Ogre, not a bad card. Problem for my opponent is Ventrico Mercenary trades with it, and he needs to actually get past this frog first. Is there anything else I can do for 2 mana? Silence, not really worth it. So what we'll do is play this guy down, and we'll attack with the hero ability because we can. This is where the weakness of Hex kind of shows itself. It's only 3 mana, dispose of anything you want, but sometimes the fact that this is a Taunter is extremely significant. He now can't kill any of my creatures. If this weren't here, he could, for example, kill my Yeti. Taunter. That's not quite going to stop my army here. Let's see if he's got anything better. Give a minion win. Oh! Pretty good card. Pretty good answer. So now he can kill my frog, and then also kill one of my creatures. Probably my Yeti would be the best thing to kill. Because there's the potential that he could also then kill the Ventrico Mercenary afterwards. Let's say he kills my Yeti. Yeah, that was a mistake. He should have killed my Yeti, then I can attack. I guess he was maybe worried about me killing him. Alright, that was fine. That was a fair move. That was a fair move. Okay, let's see if I can kill my opponent this turn. I do have a Silence, so I could get past this Taunter, and then I can Starfire to the face. So what is that? 3, 6, 10. Yep, that's enough to win. And Swipe also does the job. Alright, so my opponent had a pretty decent deck, it seems. He had a Hex, he had a Lightning Bolt there. He would have not been, you know, demolition derbied quite as hard as he was if he had waited until later in the game to play the Dust Devil. Dust Devil is always a risky play on turn 1, but you definitely don't want to play it against Druids, Rogues, and Mages who are just going to kill it on turn 2 and then rob you of your second turn. He also should not have, of course, played Coin Lightning Bolts to the face. He should have saved Lightning Bolts for creatures. Had he done that, that game would have been a little bit longer and a little bit more difficult. But as it is, I hope he learned something, and I hope he can become a better player. Up against Dinanzku, the Warlock. Is this guy worth keeping around? Yeah, 1-3 for 2 is not the worst thing in the world. We'll keep it. Stick on curve here. Actually, the Swamp Ooze is good. Warlocks don't have any weapons, so I can just play this guy down on turn 2. Oh, fuck. Secret Keeper. Well, I couldn't mulligan it. I have nothing better to do. Might as well play it. Neither Druids nor Warlocks have any secrets, so this is just going to be a 1-2 for 1 mana, which is horrible. And this is a rare pick. Like, that was the best of the available rares. Blood Imp. Swipe is actually a really good answer to Blood Imp, so I hope I draw it at some point. Because you can swipe some other thing and the Blood Imp will die. Starfall also is a good answer. I have 2 swipes and a Starfall, so I've got 3 outs to that stupid thing, which is pretty good. Swamp Ooze, alrighty. Luckily the extra health does not matter, I can still trade. Is the raid leader worth playing? I don't think... well, he is. Oh my god! This Blood Imp does make a difference! Ugh. If this guy were a 3-2, I could play Raid Leader and trade my fucking terrible Secret Keeper for it. As it is, I have to trade my high-quality creature. And that Blood Imp is already paying off for my opponent. Gah. I hate this card so much. I mean, it's very, very good. I wish it were like a rare, honestly. I wish it weren't just so pervasive in like every Warlock deck to have boatloads of these freaking Blood Imps. Drain life, alright, good play. My opponent used that on my creatures rather than on me, so this person at least knows somewhat what he's doing. Alright, Knife Juggler does have a 50-50 shot at killing the Blood Imp right here. It's about as good as we can hope for. Please! Yes! Oh, that was so good. That was so good. I'm a bit vulnerable to Hellfire here. Oh, I'm actually really vulnerable to Hellfire. I was so excited to kill that Blood Imp. I forgot about Hellfire. Demon Fire, okay. He's got my Knife Juggler out of here. This is actually a little bit of a bad situation. So, I can't pop my Mana Addict. If I play the Gurubashi Berserker, I'd have to trade both of these creatures into his one Knife Juggler. Alternative plan would be to hero ability, trade the Secret Keeper plus Hero ability in for the Knife Juggler, but then I'm not playing anything else this turn. So the question is it worth it to put the Gurubashi down? The answer is yes. It is in fact worth it. Especially since there's a small chance if he plays more creatures that the Knife Juggler will actually hit the Gurubashi, turning him into a massive 5/6, and that's pretty cool. Warlocks cannot kill this too easily until turn 6. Turn 6 they get Siphon Soul. Right, that unfortunately hit the wrong creature. Oh my god, he hit it twice. That's unfortunate, it makes the school bigger. Alright, what has he got? He's unloading here. Alright, this is ultra aggressive. Man, I wish I had some spell power. Spell power would mean that I could kill everything here. Unfortunately, such is not to be. However, I can swipe this ghoul, hero ability to finish one of the other things off, Gurubashi Berserker, attack the other thing, get enraged, have massive card advantage. That seems like a good plan. That seems like a very good plan. So here's what happens. This dies. And this dies. And my guy's a 5/4. Unfortunately, 5/4 is a little bit low. 4 is kind of a key number of health for against Warlocks, because Shadow Bolt and Soulfire both kill it now. But Hellfire won't kill it. Ah, he had the Shadow Bolt. Lame. Well, he draws a card after playing, which is a good sign. So we're actually equal on cards. He's a little bit ahead because Warlocks do have the built-in card advantage. What I'm going to do here is actually take the time to put 2 creatures down. So it leaves me a little bit more flexible to deal with his plays. He had so many cheap creatures, I'm guessing he's playing a bit of a rushy deck. So it's likely that a lot of stuff he plays will die to the Scarlet Crusader. The next turn I can play Sunwalker hero ability. Alright, money card for me to draw would be Nourish. Drawing 3 cards would be really vital here. Oh my god, does he actually have Mortal Coil? Okay, thank Christ, that would be so irritating. Soulfire, well, that could be worse. I used a pretty good card, and I got rid of a Hellfire. Well, I would say now I am squarely in the lead with this play. Glad I drafted this Ironbark Protector. Taunt's kind of irrelevant, but the 8 damage is extremely relevant. My opponent basically has to top deck a Siphon Soul or a Bust. I mean, it's just, he's in bad shape. Soulfire, interesting. Well, he gets a free 4 damage on it. Interestingly, I still can't kill it. Okay, if he top decks Drain Life, I'm going to be so pissed. Okay, thank goodness. Yeah. Let's play it a little bit safe. Let's do this and draw a card. Brewmaster. That's not exactly what I want to be doing with my life this time. Alright. He needs to be able to deal 3 damage to me in some fashion. And I've got, you know, meat coming down the pike here. Alright, that's actually pretty good for me to see. Unless he top decks a Soulfire here. Can't kill my Ironbark Protector. So that's totally fine. Oh, I could restore 2 health. Doesn't quite survive Lord of the Arena. This is the case where Lord of the Arena is pretty good. But let's go ahead and do this though. Because what's happening now is this and this. My opponent's only out would be Twisting Nether, which destroys all creatures, and even then he still dies in 3 turns to my hero ability. So, I think I'm in pretty good shape here. Alright, that was a good game. Denanzixu. That sounds like it could be like a catchy song. Denanzixu, 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 Denanzixu. Yeah. This is what happens when you play Hearthstone at 12:11 a.m. Alright, let's do this. We got 2 wins. First win was definitely a Monday night casual player. Second one, I think that was a pretty respectable deck, but I just had the threats. He wasn't able to rush me down because of that epic swipe that I had. And you know what? Gurubashi Berserker was really good there. He killed a creature, stuck around, baited another removal spell. I think, I can't remember what it was that I didn't take. Oh yeah, I was almost going to take an Argent Squire there. And I think that was definitely the right play to take the Gurubashi. He really made my life worthwhile.